Hi. Mm-hmm. 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 Okay. Actually, that was just for this morning, but it could be lit. All right. All right. So am I having that kind of a day? Um, I hung up the phone with you. I sat there for a minute. I went to find my phone and I couldn't find my phone and it had simply disappeared. And I'm like, this is not funny, right? And I'm like, going, okay, don't get up because you didn't get up. So don't get up. Just go like this everywhere. I lift up everything. And I'm just really flipping out, right? And then I was like, I looked back on my desk and it was sitting in the middle of my desk. Okay.
It ranks up there with, where are my glasses?
I remember in college going to an exam and I had to have a number 2 pencil behind my ear. And I get into class and it's time for the exam. And I'm looking at my backpack and I'm looking at my jeans and I'm looking and I can't find it anywhere. I was like, and I was like, oh, there it is. I didn't have to laugh at myself because otherwise I'm going to cry. Anyway, so to add to that, I had a reading picked out from Facebook and I got in here and it has moved. And I have no idea like who posted it, that I could look it up by the who. It's too bad. It's a very sad and poignant story about a Holocaust survivor.
Steps that I want on my phone, I take a screenshot, a screen grab of it.
Right, but I did this 3 minutes ago.
Right, no.
And I thought I'm just going to keep it right here. So.
Yeah, no. That don't work that way.
Right. So, anyway, don't worry. I have other things I can say or do instead. It's just so frustrating. What does this say? Um, That name was there from last year.
Oh, okay, I just wanted to make sure she wasn't showing up.
Mindy. Sorry, Kathy is page 10, sorry. Kathy is page 10, you're page 4. You're page 4. Yep. You know what? Did I bring them in here? Okay, hold on a second. They're in my office. 1 second. I have the list for you, but it's in my office. I know that. She's not doing it. Karen's doing it. Yeah. Here are your 2 lists. And you get hold on a second. Don't go away, Sheila. Rick. Okay. Oh, David's good here, good. Hi, David, welcome back. I have to tell you, a few times I was like, I'm gonna just text him and find out. I'm gonna just text him and find out. I'm like, no, just leave it be. It'll be what it'll be. No, I'm gonna just text him and make sure he's coming. This dog is the town for the thing. Wait another minute, see if somebody else walks in. Maybe the Messiah, and then we can all go home. That's not good. Did everybody pick up a handout? They were in the foyer. Just make sure you got it. Ooh. I think we need a new stapler. Be careful. These staples are sticking out and they're very sharp. Can we put it in the budget for next year? Wow. That's brutal. Okay. Yours is fine? Okay. It just hates me. Okay, fine. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. What's the matter? Good evening, everyone. We begin now our annual Holocaust Memorial Service, or as they say in Hebrew, Yom Hashoah Event, the day that we remember the Holocaust, but also the mighty acts of individuals who fought back against the Nazis. Hashoah Event, that they were heroes. And I just want to offer one thought from the service that we went to this afternoon in White Plains, and that is that the speaker spoke very beautifully and eloquently about her life story. She was 4 years old when her parents were arrested and taken to Auschwitz and died, and she grew up without her parents. I think she grew up with her grandparents or a grandparent. But her message was, were you there today, Michelle? She was great, right? Yeah. She said that we heard her whole story, and we've heard so many stories over the years, and we could probably repeat some of them as if they're our own stories, and that's not a bad thing that we have that kind of memory. But she said, when we speak of them, or we mention their names, or we remember them, or we talk about them to someone else, then we save them from dying a second time. They died at the hands of the Nazis the first time, and if we don't mention their names and they die a second death, that's our responsibility. So it really sort of drove the nail in to say we really need to be actively remembering the people that were lost in the Holocaust and in other atrocities in Jewish history, and that we make that our a very, very, very serious commitment to do that. And with that, we have some readings that will address that more. I'd like to begin on page 3. Feel free to read with me if you like. If you would like to have a reading of your own, there's more readings to be had. We were not there, and yet let us enter into this gathering to remember the Shoah that annihilated 1/3 of the Jewish people, 6 million women, men, and children. Let us recall the extermination decree against every Jew, wherever they may be, against every human being for being different. We are all survivors of the extermination decree. Let us remember the Jewish communities that were scattered, uprooted, and wiped out, from east to west, from north to south. Let us lament the murdered, light a candle in their memory. Let us confront evil, for at the entrance sin is crouching, then and now. And against it, let us honor and exalt the dedication of those who fought in the struggle for human dignity of women, men, and children. And of the righteous among the nations, let us praise the uprising of the survivors, the deported, and the uprooted. And then let us reflect and ask ourselves, how should we regard our being here today? In a place where there is no humanity, strive to be human. Let us hold out our hands and rise up. Let this gathering be our remembrance and responsibility. For just a moment, we're going to bypass the candle lighting, waiting for a few more people to arrive who have parts in the candle lighting service. Page 5. For these things I weep. For these things I weep. For the parents who were murdered, for the brothers, the sisters, for the children who dreamed. For these things I weep, for the house that was destroyed, for the neighbors who betrayed, for the street from which they were driven, for the synagogues that were shattered, for the whole nation whose life was crushed. For these things I weep, for each person, their world, and their mystery, for their loves, their despairs, and their dreams, for their study, their deeds, and their pains, for their memories, their anger, and their laughter, for each person and their life. Someone like to read page 5 at the bottom, for I shall yet have faith? Anybody? Go ahead, Shell. Fran.
When I was a child in Tel Aviv, my mother was silent. She uttered only a few out-of-context sentences, one of which was, in Auschwitz, I would sing Chernikovsky's I Believe to myself. Then with great passions I would sing, for I shall yet have faith in people, in spirit, great and bold.
Isn't it the human ability to overcome and to see positive and to grow again in the wake of a tragedy? Now I turn back to page 4. For the candle lighting ceremony, I'm going to ask Mindy to come up to lead us in the candle lighting ceremony.
As we light the 6 yahrzeit candles, each one representing 1 million of our brothers and sisters who were murdered, we remember Eastern European Jewry in its full bloom, and we mourn the tragic loss of this part of our rich heritage. First candle will be read by David Kasdan, president of First Hebrew.
As we light the first candle, we remember the 6 million Jews whose lives were cruelly taken in the ghettos, the forests, in cattle trains, in hiding, in the camps, on death marches, and in other unknown places. We pledge to remember them not just as numbers, but as mothers and fathers, daughters and sons, sisters and brothers, grandmothers, grandfathers, aunts and uncles, and friends whose lives would have enriched the world with their many gifts and talents.
Use that like a shabbos, so you don't have to strike that. Second candle will be read by Karen Kahn.
As we light this candle, we honor the liberators and those righteous among the nations who had the courage to care and act upon their convictions, to reach out, to shelter, rescue, and save Jews, while so many stood silent.
You can use that one as a shabbos. Carefully.
Okay.
Third candle will be read by Gila Radpavar.
As we light this candle, we honor the As we light this candle, we lovingly remember the 1.5 million innocent children mercilessly killed in Holocaust. We light this candle to remember their hopes and their dreams.
The fourth candle will be read by Sonny Kellner.
As we light this candle, we also remember the millions of non-Jews murdered during the Second World War. These included righteous Gentiles, clergy, gypsies, homosexuals, and people with physical and mental disabilities.
Michelle?
We light this candle for the survivors of the Holocaust to bear witness that in spite of the greatest evil against our people, we survived and made new lives and families.
The sixth candle will be read by Fran Olmsted.
We light this candle for the second generation, the children of survivors who had the strength and the courage to rebuild their lives and give us life.
Very much. As you came in there, you had an opportunity to light a candle out in the foyer. If you didn't before and you would like to, you can do it now, or you can also take a candle home with you to burn at home overnight tonight. We continue on page 6 with the reading called Remember Me. Something that always struck me was how at the conclusion of my great-grandfather's narratives, he would say, "Remember this and tell your children." I thought about this as I was on FaceTime with my Zadie while he was on his deathbed. The last time I ever spoke to him was when my whole family called him to say, "Shabbat Shalom." Vividly, I recall his exact words as we were about to hang up. In his old, Polish-scented accented voice, he said to my brother and me, "Boys, remember me, remember me." From that point on, I promised myself I would always remember him. Not the Holocaust survivor, not the miraculous 101-year-old man, but my Zeta, his legacies, his stories, and everything he worked for in this country of opportunity. So what is the power of memory? Having the person live on throughout your family's generations. I want my children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren to remember my Zeta, to tell his stories, and pass on his legacy. Remember me. This is written by a 13-year-old. This next reading is new to our program. I chose this out of a book that was published following October 7th. It was written for that event and about that event, and yet it fits right in here. The passage of time between the two events have no effect. The fact that all those years have passed between the Holocaust and October 7th has no effect. And we can read this just as if it were aimed at the Holocaust as well as October 7th. These are the names of the children of Israel who came to Egypt. By the way, it was published in a bilingual book in Hebrew and in English. And these are the names of the children of Israel, 8 and another 6 nights. And these are the names of those covered by darkness. And these are the names of those descending into the abyss of grief, whose lives were snatched and cut off. And these are the names of the children of Israel, whose cry rises from the depth of the tunnels of darkness. There is no angel nor seraph to save them, not even a single expression of deliverance. but there is hope, whose wings tremble with the power to break through the straits, to call them by their names and draw them out, to bring them back to the land of the living. We turn now to page 7 with the recitation of the names of those connected to our congregation who either perished in the Holocaust or survived the Holocaust but have died since then. I'm going to ask Debbie to come up first. She's our first reader, and after Debbie, get my wrong page here. After Debbie, Mindy, and then you have 3. That's right. Number 3 is Mindy. She's got 2. 1, 2, 3. Okay, we're good.
Morgenstern family. Leah Levinson and family. Gershon Morgenstern and family. Yossel Morgenstern and family. Lebenberg family. Malka Taub Lebenberg. Moshe Chaim Lebenberg. Luzar Lebenberg. Abraham Lebenberg and family. Simon Gottfried, Gerda Leah Gottfried. Solomon Alexandrovitz. Henrik Alexandrovitz. Sila Alexandrovitz. Mundek Alexandrovitz. Frida Alexandrovitz. Teicher family. Clara Steicher and daughter Rena. Anna Mahler. Isidore Mahler. Horst Blumenthal. Alfred Heinem. Laura Hachheimer. Parents and brother. Svi Singer. Sarah Chava Singer. Orsay Singer. Mula Singer. Aaron Singer. Solomon Singer. Label Singer. Bertha Singer. Gita Singer. Frida Singer. Joel Jenis. Galinsky family. Meerman family. Ignaz Buchsbaum. Yitzchak Ben Leib. Brona Buchsbaum. Bracha Bat Scheindel. Sarah Lubelski. Reb Yehuda Leib. Eric Lubelski. Iga Prizorowski. Bela Schwartz.
Sarah Newman, Betta Newman, Oscar Newman, Joseph Newman, Samuel Wyprovnik, his wife and 4 children, his 9 siblings and their families, Willie Newman, Labus Becher, Moise Becher, Mortke Becher, Isaac Becher, Cyril Friedman, Razel Becher, Weichman Friedman, Barak Friedman, Helena Weichman, Morris Weichman, Chaim Becher, Smilch Becher, Esther Becher, Fega Razel Becher, Rose Becher Kukier, Joel Kukier, Yannick Borgen-Nicht, Max Fishman, Oberlander family, Joseph Ziegler, Elizabeth Ziegler, Ann Ziegler, Kathy Ziegler, Sandor Ziegler, Paul Ziegler, Istvan Ziegler, Alfred Berliner, Frida Berliner, Gloria Berliner, Ilse Berliner, Joseph Berliner, Julie Berliner, Helene Berliner, Ida Guggenheim, Martin Spear, Walter Spear.
Yehuda Mendelowitz, Mordechai Mendelowitz, Devorah Mendelowitz, Miriel Mendelowitz, Itzhak Mendelowitz, Hyman Mendelowitz, Menachem Mendelowitz, Malka Mendelowitz, Jacob Gutglass, Simone Dunn, Andre Boren, Ben Greenbaum.
The names that Fran is about to read are newly added to our list. These are the victims of the Shoah from Pristupim, from which our Holocaust Torah comes. And as we see, it's marked up here. This is the history of the Pristupim Torah, and these are the people who lived in that community and who died in the Holocaust.
Artur Bergler, Rudolf Bergler, Elisa Berglerova, Frantiska Hellerova, Berlina Hellerova, Leibus Hellerova, Alois Kiesler, Bohumil Kiesler, Vlasta Kieslerova, Miriam Schneiderova, Max Kischer, Marketa Kisherova, Zdenka Kisherova, Vidislav Kaiser, and Jan Ullman.
May their names, their memories be a blessing to all of us, and may we take seriously the obligation of keeping their names and their memories alive, lest they die a second death. Kathy, you're on page 10.
A prayer. Father, Adonai, Creator, who set the round course of the world, birth, death, and disease.
Who caused veins, brains, and bones to grow, who fashioned us air that we might breathe and sing.
Remember that we are incomplete and inconsolable, our vision clouded by ashes. Remember the mutilated music of their lives.
We lament in fields of loneliness for 6 million of our number torn away.
Remember them.
There are some who have no memorial. They are perished as though they had never been.
Forget them not.
Remember the landscape of screams engraved at entrance gates to death.
Remember the unborn dreams.
Remember the terror of children whose tears were burned. Remember the agony of parents whose blessings were consumed.
Remember the prayers of the dying, the shameful and the suffering of the innocent.
Remember, we have not forgotten you through all this, though all this has befallen us.
Remember the God-forsaken millions in a silent world. Their loneliness was matched only by yours.
Who is like you, O Lord, among the silent, remaining silent through the suffering of his children?
Are you no God, O Lord, that we may hope in you? Renew the light of your creation, which has been dimmed.
Renew in your creatures your image, which has been desecrated. Restore the covenant which your people have maintained.
Remember the hopes of the slain by sending redemption to your shattered world.
In spite of everything which strangles hope, help us to continue the sustaining song of their lives.
We know that a time will come when there will be no strong and no weak, no hunters and no hunted, no oppressors and no oppressed, no slayers and no slain, no masters and no servants, no rich and no poor.
Our enemies mightier than we, Torah is stronger than their might, and our dream is greater than their night.
We know that this world will be saved from evil.
Should this not be true, may we know nothing further, as nothing will be worth knowing.
For we know how difficult, how dangerous, how piteous it is to be a human being, and we know how grand, how glorious it is to be a human being.
When we recall the pain of our past, we also recall its splendor, the foundation with which our lives began, and our debt to all those blessed memory who have come before us.
Their lives and their teachings sustain us. As surely as something in all of us died with them, the merit of their lives stand at our side today.
because of the strength and the beauty and the piety of our lives, because of our hope for the future which they have planted within us, we say yes to creation, and we say yes to our Creator and to God's eternity and holiness. Before we go on with the prayer portion of the evening, I just have a couple of remarks. One thing that I think a lot about in recent weeks is that when it came to the Holocaust, people went to the trope of, well, we didn't know what was happening. Well, we didn't know. We didn't know. We didn't know. And now everybody knows everything. Everything's recorded. Everything's written. Everything is known. Everything is reported. And people can no longer use that trope of, well, we didn't know what was happening, so that's why we couldn't help, because we didn't know. There's no more of that. They can't hide behind that. They may say it, but it's empty because everybody knows everything. It's splattered everywhere. There's no corner in which that all the information about what's happening is happening today is not known. So that's one thing. Second thing is that the things that are happening in the United States today, some of them are reminiscent of the Holocaust. And it's very important that we not think about safety only for Jews. We have to think about safety for everybody in this country, everybody in Israel, everybody in Gaza. There has to be safety for everyone. And we need to take that as seriously. We have to take that to heart as being our responsibility to stand up, speak up, and make your voice heard, call your representatives, whatever means that you find. It's also reaching out a hand to somebody who's struggling, or somebody who's worrying about someone who's struggling. That we try to create a network where we're connected, because it's no more okay for someone who's not Jewish to be hauled away than it is okay for a Jew to be hauled away. And we know that. We know that it's happened to Jews, and we know that it's happening now to other people as well. We need to treat everybody like they're our brother or our sister and fight for their safety and due process. It's not about being Jewish or not being Jewish. So those are just some of my thoughts as we talking about the Shoah tonight, but we have, unfortunately, a live Shoah happening here, or leading that way at least, and we know the signs, and we see them, and we need to not just think about it as something in the past. Someone today in the presentation in White Plains said something about when they used to blah, 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 blah. And yeah, they're doing it now. Yeah, they're doing it now. It's not different. It's going on. It's happening. And so I guess feeling close to retirement makes me feel bold to say things that I wouldn't otherwise have said from the pulpit. But it's how I feel, and it's what's bothering me, and the message that I want you to walk out with here is that there are black clouds coming in. It's terrifying, and we need to stick together, not only with each other, with other Jews, but with all people who are good, civilized human beings, that we protect one another and that we be connected to one another and we stand up for one another. Because what did they say after the Holocaust? Well, how come nobody said anything? Why weren't you saying anything? Why didn't you stand up for us? Well, that we can't be that person who wants to receive help but doesn't want to extend help. It's got to be both ways. So with that, we go on to our memorial prayer on page 11. El Malay, please rise as you are able. El male rachamim, shochen bamramim. Hamitzei menucha nechona, tachat kanfei hashchina. B'ma'alot kiroshim atorim, kizohar harakia mazhirim. Et nishmat kol achenu b'nei Yisrael, anashim, nashim v'taf. Shenitbechu, v'shenechneku, v'shenisrefu, v'shenehergu. B'gan Eden tehei menuchatam. Ana balarachamim hastirehem b'seter kanafecha liolamim. Utzror b'tzror achayim inishmotehem. Adonai nachalatam. Ve'enuchu b'shalom mishkavotehem v'nomar. Amen. Exalted, compassionate God, grant perfect peace in your sheltering presence among the holy and pure, to the souls of all our brethren, men, women, and children of the house of Israel who were slaughtered and suffered and burned to ashes. May their memory endure, inspiring truth and loyalty in our lives. May their souls thus be bound up in the bond of life. May they rest in peace, and let us say, Amen. And now we continue on the next page. The prelude to reciting Kaddish. Let us say Kaddish not only for the dead, but also for the living who have forgotten the dead. And let the prayer be more than a prayer, more than lament. Let it be outcry, protest, and defiance. And above all, let it be an act of remembrance, for that is what the victims wanted, to be remembered, at least to be remembered. Just as the killer was determined to erase Jewish memory, so were the dying heroes and fighting martyrs bent on maintaining it alive, which they are now being defamed or forgotten, which is like killing them a second time. Let us say Kaddish together and not allow others to betray them posthumously. So I'll read beginning on the right side of the page in the Hebrew, and you respond in the English. Yitgadal Auschwitz v'yitkadash Lodz Shmei Rabbah Ponar Bialma Divrach Hirutei Babiyar V'yamlich Malchutei Maidanek B'chayechon v'yomechon Birkenau V'chayei Dechol Beit Yisrael Ba'agala V'zman Kariv Yanauska B'imru Amen Yehi Shmei Rabba Mivorach Le'olam L'olmei Olmaya Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yitpa'ar V'yitramam Buchenwald V'yitnaseh V'yitadar Tebrinkla V'yita'aleh V'yitalal Vilna Shmei Dekudesha Bergen-Belsen Brich Hu Le'olah Min Kol Birchata V'shirata Dachau Tushbechata V'nechemata Minsk Da'amiran Bialma Warsaw V'yimru Amen. Together, Yehei Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya V'chayim Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'yimru Amen. Oseh Shalom B'mramav Hu Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'yimru Amen. You can be seated. I turn to page 14. This is an inscription found on the walls of a cellar in Cologne, Germany, where Jews hid from the Nazis. I believe in the sun, even when it's not shining. I believe in love when feeling it not. I believe in God, even when God is silent. There's a positive attitude to take with us as we prepare to leave here. Sunny? You can do that.
I'm not afraid of evil because it can only kill me once. But if I stand against evil, I get to live 100,000 times, O Great Spirit. Quit being so silent amid evil's scorched earth sermon of holy despair. Our Creator I will be planting sunflowers in the war trenches, while evil scratches despair forever on the foreheads of every prisoner he captures. I will be growing a sprawling garden that will carry the fragrance of possibility over every prison wall, and maybe evil will send wolves to come devour me as I patiently wait for my flowers to bloom and tower. But I will not let fear of death keep me from growing my meadow, because the game is rigged every time evil tries to destroy hope with rage and fury. Hope always comes back with her lush rose of inedible promise. Yes, it will. No matter how many bullets you fire or how many explosions you cause, you will never be able to kill hope, and I must be killing it.
So the message from today is to take seriously the responsibility of remembering those who have died, those who lived through the Holocaust, and those who have died, so that they don't die a second death, that their name, their actions, their thoughts are on our lips and in our hearts as we go through our days. And to remember that we need to protect everyone, that this is not just it is a Jewish problem, but it's not just a Jewish problem. We have a responsibility to link hands with everyone who's being chased, captured, and sent to untold places. We wouldn't allow it to happen to us. We would fight very hard not to have it happen to us. We need to do it for everyone who's in that position. And that's a lot. That maybe feels like a big burden to have that kind of responsibility, but it's part of being human. And I love the poem that Sunny read because there's always hope at the end of it. However angry and frustrated we are in the process and how terrifying it can be in the process, that there's always hope. There's always a flower that's going to come up without any input from us. It's just going to come up on its own, and the sun's going to rise the next day. And we have to hold on to that too, to be able to function throughout all of this. And I'm sure we all spend plenty of times, just like this, looking down here, nothing going on over here. It's all calm here. And you have to do that. You have to protect yourself. You have to give yourself a break from it all. But then sometimes you have to know what's really going on out there. So we'll walk this walk together. You are free to go out if you haven't lit a candle and you'd like to, or you'd like to take one with you, please do. That's what they're there for, thanks to Men's Club. And we'll see you on Shabbat. Okay. I'm going to keep an annotated reader's copy in here. Now can I call him? Okay. I need his number. So it's pathetic that, like Andre was supposed to be here with his mom. Last year it was Josh, and this year when I asked Josh, he said, not my night to have him, it's her night. She said, oh yeah, that's great, we want to come, perfect. Rick didn't show up. I don't know. I was going to say I give up, but it's too late for giving up. I'm beyond giving up. Okay.
Somebody else's problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a bunch of those.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, whatever. Okay. All right. Play the janitor and close up.